In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Title Agents Podcast. Today's guest is Debbi DiMaggio, a top 1% real estate agent, author, podcast host, and a mentor who's been building community and coaching agents for over 30 years. As a partner at Corcoran Icon Properties, she leads with kindness and curiosity, helping others grow their brands and businesses. From co-founding a boutique firm during 2009 downturn to inspiring others through her books and podcasts, Debbi brings a wealth of insight you won't want to miss. Welcome to the show. Well, Debbi, welcome to the show. You're not only a top producing agent, but also an author and a brand builder. How did your journey in real estate begin, and how has it evolved into the platform you have today?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here. Always love talking to like-minded people. So the journey's kind of funny. When I was growing up and then into college, the only thing I knew I did not want to do was real estate. And here I am today, 35 years later. And, we have dreams, right? So it might not have been my dream at the time, but my father had a dream that we would all work together. His family would work together one day. So he now has we don't work with him directly. I do residential real estate, but we're all in real estate. My husband and I have been in real estate together for 35 years. My brother is now working with my dad on all my dad's investments and all his buildings. And of course, we help him with those properties as well. And then our son, Chase, right after COVID or during COVID, joined us. So the only person not involved is my daughter, who did get her license and was licensed in New York for a while. And she said, "Mom, I don't want to do real estate." We're like, "Okay, you don't have to do it." So she is living and loving New York. But I still would love to get her in, maybe so she can work in the Hamptons so I can go hang out with her. Yeah.
Where do you live and what market you're in?
Sure. So I am sitting here in the Oakland Berkeley Hills and I'm looking out to San Francisco. Everyone knows where San Francisco is. So I'm on the other side, a little warmer over here, not so foggy. And we look out right now to the Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the San Rafael Bridge, Alcatraz, Angel Island. So we have a pretty view of the bay. And then, so we've been specializing here for 35 years. And then when my children went on to, grow up and go to college, the empty nest killed me. I was in fetal position. It was so horrible for me. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do to add to real estate. Of course, I'm always practicing real estate, but I'm like, if they're not around for us to go to sports activities and to be involved in their life and their friends coming over, I've got to have an outlet somewhere. And I don't golf, and I know a lot of people do. And I had friends that were starting to play bridge and mahjong, and I said, that's not for me. And I don't cook and I don't garden. So I like to create things. So I wrote my first book, Contain Beauty, Photographs, Reflections in Swimming Pools. And I went on to write The Art of Real Estate, 52 Ways to Achieve Success in Real Estate. During COVID, I did Beauty at Any Age, and I'm currently working on the Mindset in Motion method. I also opened up our practice down to Los Angeles because I really love LA. So I have a place in West Hollywood the last 7 years, and I like to travel. I like to be on the move.
All great areas from San Francisco to LA. You can't go wrong. So you've written about real estate like an art form. How do you bring creativity into transaction-heavy business? And how do title agents fit in this experience, if we can, somehow,
right.
Some shape?
Yeah. So I'm always, when I'm asleep, I wake up in the morning, I'm still half asleep, and my mind starts writing. So I'm a visual person, and Italian, so you can see the hand. So I wake up, I'm waking in the morning, not quite awake, but my mind is like a typewriter, and it's a and I'm like, I gotta get out of bed. I wish all the times that my mind did that, I got out of bed and just wrote everything, because that's when my creativity starts and I start writing. So you asked about creativity. So the recent one, it started a couple weeks ago, is the 3 C's of real estate. The newest blog I wrote is the 5 C's of real estate and entrepreneurship. So the 5 C's are care, communication, collaboration, creativity, and I said communication, collaboration, care, creativity. Well, anyway, there's 5. I'll get back to them. But the one I wanted to talk about is creativity, because you asked, how can you be creative in this business? So the first way we're creative is creative in marketing, how to attract attention for us to gain business. There's a lot of real estate agents out there, so you can't be what people say a secret agent. People have to be able to locate you and know who you are and get to know you authentically. So you have to be creative in your marketing that way. You also have to be creative when you're marketing your properties. You want to showcase them beautifully. We can go into that in a little bit. And then you have to be creative when you are collaborating with other agents and you want to attract their attentions, because remember, when we refer an agent, if I know an agent somewhere, I can refer them. I had a friend ask me for a realtor in Paris. I got her a realtor to refer in Paris. I had friends who were in Marbella, Spain. I was able to refer them. So being creative in your writing. So when when I maybe put a newsletter out, I share my information, some bit of news about real estate, about the market. It could be about a restaurant. So being creative to let them know it's real estate is a lifestyle. It's not just buying and selling homes. It's a whole lifestyle. So there's so many ways to be creative in selling a home and just showcasing who you are and how you can help other people.
So luxury real estate is about more than just price, as you mentioned.
Yes.
It's about service.
Yes.
What are some of the key elements you believe make up a high touch, memorable client experience?
I think the first thing is, I always like to say, I love a handwritten note. I'm about to go deliver an orchid and a handwritten note to my neighbor. So it's just those touch points. So I have the 3 C's of real estate, or the 5 C's of real estate now, but I also have a program called Foundation for Success. And Foundation for Success talks about the 5 pillars of whether you have a service, product, or brand. So not necessarily for real estate, but it is targeted to realtors. But one of the most important things is that personal touch, a handwritten note, picking up the phone call.
What is that? The phone call?
It's like picking up the phone
Nobody
and
wants to
answering the call. Oh, I know. I just actually used AI to ask it, how do I work with millennials? Because we are in the middle of a transaction, and sometimes, yes, you can text and you can email, but other times we have more to say. There's just more information that it's not a yes or no answer. So I said so AI told me how to deal with them. Oh my God. I was like, because they don't want to pick up the phone, and it's so important to pick up the phone. And I have a little story on that where the deal wasn't going smooth. And so I didn't want to kind of tell on the agent, but I called her broker because I knew her broker. And I said, we're in this deal together and things seem a little stuck. If she would just pick up the phone, we can talk it through and see what's going on. So the broker called the agent called me back because she was texting and it wasn't working. I'll never forget, I was walking down the street in LA to go get a coffee, and she finally called and we had a chat. And what it was it was a home in Piedmont they were buying, but the daughter had a father in Los Angeles. And so all she said to me was her father is from Los Angeles. And I said, oh, I get it. The way we do real estate in the East Bay in Northern California and the way they do real estate in LA is very different. So with that, I knew exactly what the hurdle was and we got through it. But you need to pick up the phone. You do not know what's going to come out of someone's mouth when you're having a free-flowing conversation.
So you work with a wide range of professionals in every transaction. What makes an escrow officer or a title agent stand out to you as a real estate professional?
Oh my gosh, I don't know anyone wants to work with me. I'm very demanding, but but I follow through like nobody's business. So poor Andrea, we've been working together forever. We had Renee before that, and then she retired. Oh my God. And then Andrea came in. And so she's our title officer, but then we also have the people who go around and help out the regionals or whatever that will help you with mailings and different things or getting you lists or whatever. So we can call on her at any time. She will always go the extra mile. We don't have to wait. If there's some weird thing in the title that comes up, she'll work to get it worked through faster. I can say what's not good when you're working with someone who you don't know. There's no special favor. It's a 9 to 5. There's no after hours. There's no cell phone. It's a literal hard cut off, and no weekends. And it's just a business, it's a very strict business relationship. We adore Andrea, and she's always there for us and our clients. And if she'll go the extra mile, if we need to get it recorded sooner, she just like Labor Day's coming up, right? So we're, ahead of time. I always plan Labor Day's coming. Are we going to close, a day early or 3 days late? So just, she hopefully she appreciates. We do give her a lot of business. We open every escrow. We have like 5 of them with her right now.
Fantastic. So you're very active on social media and content marketing. How do you think title professionals or entrepreneurs in general can leverage personal branding or storytelling to add value?
Yeah. First of all, I think the reason we have to be on social media, there's so many people out there who inspire me. First of all, it's like my social media is okay, but I do it, but there's so many people who are so talented, and yes, there's all these content people you can hire as well, but it's so fun. You can learn a lot. So I think that adding value by first of all, sharing who you are, because we're all people and people relate with different people. I'm not going to, my client's not going to necessarily be your client if you're a realtor, and, someone else. There has to be some kind of connection, at least in competition. Whether someone's a new agent or a seasoned agent, if there's a connection with the agent that's new, that they'll probably get the listing or the work with them as a buyer. So it's really about personality and about connection first. Then it's about, do I resonate with them? And then it's like, wow, I found value in that. And when you put something out there that people remember, then they tend to remember you to go back to you, because maybe when they're looking at the time, they're not looking to buy a house. What if time goes by, they had followed you because you had shared something that they liked, and then they thought, who was that agent who put that out? That was really interesting. Or I liked that she had this connection to LA, or she had this connection to the Hamptons, or whatever it is. There's something and that's, for me, that's the same. If I'm watching someone and I see something and I save on my Instagram, I could go back to it, and maybe I didn't need that thing then, but then I wanted to go back to it. So it's just very relationship oriented and just communicating and inspiring. Long time ago, tagline was, my goal has always been to communicate, educate, and inspire. If I can inspire someone to learn something or remember something, and then communication, you have to even over communicate, because we do this every single day. You know what you do, I know what I do, and I know I've done it for a long time. And they are in their profession and they know what they do. But we have to remember that they don't know the kinds of things that will happen or what could happen in a transaction. Just reminding them about a home warranty and how it works. It could be any little thing. Or don't go spend to buy a car or even a living room set before you close. It's like, no, don't buy that. That's a good one. That's a good blog. What not to do prior to buying a house.
Wait till you close.
Wait till you close, then do whatever you want.
So the technology is changing how we show homes, close deals, and connect with clients. Are you seeing any new tools or platforms that are shifting how buyers and sellers think?
Yeah, well, I've been in this a long time, right? Before Gmail, or before the internet, before, God, it seems so weird. Before Google search, before AI, before the MLS. So, I was at a listing presentation yesterday, and I was explaining to the people it is how important it was. They understood, but I was explaining the importance of staging the home, because as much as we want to find a buyer and bring them in, we can't. Buyers will look online before they even find an agent half the time. And then they stumble into an open house. And then sometimes they just, if they don't have an agent, they'll write it with the agent, the listing agent. But we don't have, as a listing agent, we can't control that. Neither can the other agent. So what we put online about that house has to be consistent. Oh, that was the other thing. That was the other C, consistency. So,
got it.
That's why they're all there. So you have to make sure your product, your listing looks beautiful, because people will scroll just like they do on those dating apps. Yep. They'll just scroll right past it.
Trying to date a house.
It's like, yeah. So, and it's kind of like a matchmaking, right? We are trying to match the person in the house. So not only do we have to make it look great and great photography, but we have to keep it going online. Someone might be looking today that's, has just started, or someone might come into the market 2 weeks in. We've been on the market, but so we have to keep it fresh. We have to keep it in front of people, and we have to keep it open. So I think it's really important to be creative that way, and to also just keep it in the front. As for some tools I've been using, I'm really into AI right now. I'm in a mastermind group, and half the tools they talked about, I haven't even gotten there yet. I literally had ChatGPT tell me you need to take a break. He's like, are you sure you don't want to take a pause for a while? I had like 6 ChatGPTs open. I bought like every subscription. I'm like, finish your job. If I could scream it, get it out of there, I would have. But I do use it a lot. It makes things easy.
It's part of life.
And you can ask it a lot of questions, like the question I asked the other day: How do I deal with millennials? How do I work with them? How should I do this? They're here, so we got to figure it out. I understand how to work with older people with patience and not selling them and stuff, and just lead by helping and kindness, which I do. But yeah, with the millennial, it's a little different, and they're not as trusting. They want to vet everything themselves.
You want to see the stars, like in Google or Yelp, whatever.
Yes,
the reviews.
Yeah.
You've written and spoken a lot about community and giving back. How do you weave purpose and passion into your professional life, and how can other industry professionals do the same?
I would say across the board, I haven't been in all these different careers, but I think when someone is successful, they have to love what they do. I don't know how someone, if they don't love what they do, how they could be good at it and how they can attract clients. I literally really enjoy and love what I do. Every day I get up literally and I'm excited. I have all these, and it's all different, right? So it's not like I'm sitting here all day long. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not sitting here all day long, or a scientist. I am out and about and running around. And after this, I have showings, and then I'm going to work on my book, and then I have more showings, and a lot of more phone calls and emails. But you're engaging with people, so you have to like people. We are dealing with lenders and title people and painters and stagers and everything, and clients and husbands and wives and different personalities. So you have to like what you do, and you have to really like people. And that's one of the things when I was 25 and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because remember, it wasn't going to be real estate. So I was trying to figure out what that was. And before I got into it, I had written what I like to do. It had to have a job or career, had to be a lifestyle. It had to be, I didn't want it to be a 9 to 5. I wanted it to be important. So when I got home after work, there was still maybe some work to be done. I wanted to help people and support them. I wanted to meet people all the time from different backgrounds and cultures. I'm from a small town in Piedmont, and I've been there all my life, and we raised our kids there. So I just wanted to be able to meet. I love travel, so I like to meet people and hear their stories, hear their backgrounds. It's the first thing I ask: where are you from and what's your nationality? I'm Sicilian. I'm from here, but I'm 100% Sicilian. But I like to know the history of people. And so it's so easy to just and natural to talk with them. And then I don't know, it's a mother instinct I've always had. I just want to help them. I always want to help people. And I think I got that from my father and his mother. So yeah, it's just, I think you just have to love what you do, whatever it is.
Absolutely. So you're juggling so many things. How do you structure your day? Tell me a typical day in your life. So, what time do you wake up? How do you start? What do you do first? It's kind of does your day progress? Just out of curiosity.
I'm always tightening it up, but I'll tell you what I did this morning. It was a pretty organized day, a pretty busy day already, and it's only 11. I get up about 4, and I have 2 kitties, Rigatoni and Tortellini.
What time do you go to bed? You wake up at 4?
About 10. Sometimes if we're watching shows, I'll fall asleep and then get up and then go to bed. But
so you're very blessed. You don't require a lot of sleep.
No.
You're very blessed.
Yeah. I mean, it would be good if I could sleep, but if I was to sleep until 7, I would be like, the sky is falling.
So you wake up at 4.
So I get up at 4 and I'm still, the house is dark. My husband, he doesn't wake up. The kitties don't wake him up, but they get me up. And then I get up at 4. I keep everything off. I put on my headset. That's another part in my book. It's called the lock-in. I reversed engineered everything. It wasn't something I thought about. It's just something that I do. And now I've kind of coined it. It's the lock-in method. I put my headphones on, different headphones, and I get my phone. I don't look at it. I just turn on YouTube vlogs. I put on my meditation, meditation. Right now it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm kind of in a loop on that. So probably, I listen to about 4 or 5 of them, feed the kitties, have my water. I always drink water. And then I go upstairs and lay down and close my eyes and try to, not move around the house, try to still remain more in meditation. And then I'll make coffee, still dark. And then I'll go downstairs. Today, I did go downstairs, still dark, and walked on the treadmill and bounced on the trampoline. And then I did a little bit of work. And then at 7:50 a.m. every Wednesday, we have our Business Networking International meeting. So popped on our BNI meeting and we had that. And then, then it's kind of emails and podcasts, either hosting or being on a podcast. And then, all the busy work and stuff and showing property and scheduling appointments and all of that sort of thing. But that's kind of how it starts.
That's awesome. I truly wish I had that gene. I know it's a gene. It doesn't require a lot of sleep. I think my wife has that gene as well, but I just wish I had.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a little insane. I've just always been this way.
So what advice would you give to title agents or entrepreneurs in real estate who want to build a personal brand or voice in their space?
Yeah. So let's talk about what a title agent. So a title agent, yes, they are in the office, but what they're doing is so important. And they are, I always say my success is because, I might be here leading the band, but there's so many people. Like right now, after I get off the phone, make sure Andrea opened the title for the new listing we have, make sure we're going to close early. I rely on her for other deals. I rely on her, the painter and the stager and the home inspector and the pest inspector. Those people are all part of my team. I needed the roofer the other day. It was my son's first deal. I'm like, our roofer came out. It's like relationships are so important. You're only as strong as your relationships. So a title person, they're not out and about. They're not advertising like a real estate agent, and their reps do come by to kind of talk about how well they'll do. But if you're a title person in the office, it still would be good to do social media, and they have so much insight into real estate that's sharing those tips. So, they probably don't have a lot of time, but maybe that's something that the rep the regional rep could help them with their social media. So maybe they're more prevalent. And just more at the forefront. But it really is a relationship. So right now, Andrea doesn't need to build any more credibility with us, but if there was a new title person starting out, that person should go meet those agents in person. I had someone we're partners in our Corcoran company. We're partners in our brand, in our 29 offices in Northern California. A recruiter at another firm came to recruit me, and we were chatting, and I said, you're really good. I'm not going anywhere, but you're really good. we made an appointment and I'm sitting here with you and I rarely eat lunch and we're sitting here having a nice conversation and I'm going to remember you. I know what you look like. You're kind. You're nice. She was very sweet and I'm not going to forget her. But if you're a title person or a realtor for that matter, for sure, sitting at home or behind your desk and you're not meeting people, how can someone remember you, right? You have to try to get in front of people. If it's on Zoom, if that's the only way. The other day I did a podcast with someone, he was out of LA, and I said, we all do so many of these podcasts and it's like you do it and then they're gone and you're like, who is that person? And so it's hard to remember. So I follow up with the handwritten note usually. And then because he was in LA, I said, let's meet in 3 weeks. I'll be there. So we met in person. Now I'm not going to forget him. I know he's a real person. I know visually where he is. We made a deeper connection just by being in front of each other for a very short time. So if people are traveling to different places, when my husband and I travel, we're always meeting agents or people in real estate. We're looking at property. It's fun for us. But get in front of people, whatever business you're in, get in front of people, live in front of people.
Especially if you're in sales, like as a realtor.
Yeah. You've got to meet people. And that's what I love about B&I. I've only done it about, going on maybe 2 years now. And, it's about seeing these people every week, and it is on Zoom once a week in person, but it's really about building these relationships. It's so much more fun to build relationships and work by referral than it is to try to randomly cold call and meet someone. It's not very fun. If you're really working, I'm always the top referrer. I'm always referring the people in our group. I'm number one all the time. I'm natural. I just love to connect people, but that's fun. That's way more fun than trying to cold call I've never door knocked, so I can't say what that's like, but I would be terrified to do that.
So looking ahead, what excites you about the real estate industry? And what should title professionals be doing today to stay relevant and valuable in that future with realtors and people like the high caliber producers like you?
Yeah, I think that I know they're busy because they have so many different clients and it's not just, they don't just have one client, they have multiple clients. But I think if a title person could, you can have a party and invite people. That's one way to knock out more people. If you had like a little mixer, and maybe it wasn't at the office, maybe it was somewhere where people really wanted to go. It's hard to get people are so used to just, they're busy or they're used to, not doing those kinds of things. But if you can find an interesting way to maybe play bocce ball, whatever it is, go bowling, just have like an activity where people can gather so people can see them as, not just behind a desk, but they're in their casual clothes, we're in our casual clothes, and we're doing an activity together. A cooking class, I think, is a really good way. I don't cook, but I do like a cooking class. I don't garden, but we just, a staging company just hosted an event for our Women's Council of Realtors in San Francisco. And it was so great. They had these big bowls filled of like moss and we made those little living boards and they had these framed and they gave us glue and we were just sticking them on. It was a fun activity. Of course, I did mine in 5 seconds and everyone else was taking their time being creative. But, an activity like that is really fun. So, and then on top of the events is really just, coming and meeting the agent, just one or the team, not the whole office. It's hard to get people to come in. But if you just make a meeting with just one agent and try, I don't want to make it too big of a goal. Try to meet, 3 people in a month, in person, even if they're your clients. When you walk into an office, so if, let's say Andrea's going to come meet me at my office, she already has me, but she's taking the time to come say hi. And then who is going to be in the office that she's not working with, right? All of a sudden, I'm like, Andrea, here's this person and this person you need to know. And they'll say, oh, I've heard your name, but I've never worked with you. And she'd be like, give me a try. And so, right, it's just like a domino. And it's also natural. It's absolutely natural. There's no sales about that. She's just, taking the time to come and say hi. And she ended up meeting so many more people.
So we're coming to a close here. I have a final two questions for you. What do you have favorite quote that inspires you?
Oh my God. I guess right now
I'm sure you have plenty.
I have so many, but so I'm recently writing on Substack. I love it. I love to blog. And so that's my new platform. I'm sure all of a sudden in a year or two, it's going to cost me a fortune to probably subscribe. But right now it's free. And I am just, all of my thoughts are going there. So I've created yet another program. Well, this is more of an inspirational deck of cards. It's 52 cards. So I'm on like number 6. So if you go to Substack, you can see every day I'm posting a different card. So right now there's two things that I love, and I don't know if they're anyone's quotes, but my quote is, be open to the opportunities. You never know. Every day I live this way. And I told my mom this the other day. I said, I never know when I wake up what's going to happen that day. I'm always open to the opportunity. When I met Gary Wilson, we did a podcast together. He just saw something in me, and now we're working together. He's mentoring me, and he's like, I see you going so much further. I really want to help you. And I didn't know that was going to happen from a podcast. I didn't know we would find a connection and that he would want to help me grow. So yes, I have thousands of wonderful quotes, but I just want to say, be open to the opportunities.
I love it. How about a favorite book?
Oh my gosh. So, I will say this one I did not know why I had it in my possession, but I had The Go-Giver by Bob Burg. I read the book. I passed it on to my son, and that was probably 2 years ago. And then let's say 6 months ago, I was on Twitter, and Bob wrote something, and I responded, and I said, I loved what he was writing. And when he responded, I'm like, I wonder if that's like one of his employees or, social media people, right? And so then a couple months later, probably 6 months later, I'm like, I'm just going to reach out to him and see if he'll be on my podcast. So it was a Sunday. I went to his website. I sent him an email and asked if he would consider being on my podcast. It was a Sunday. He responded right away. He was on my podcast. He launched my rebrand from Mastering the Art of Real Estate to Mastering the Art of Success. And he could not be kinder. And I was just blown away that he was on it. And it was really great. And he's really great.
That's awesome. You know what's something funny? This is my second recording today, podcast. Same book.
No way.
Swear to God. And the other person, Kevin Thatcher, was the guest earlier, he lives in Florida. Actually, I believe Berg lives in Florida, Jupiter or something. So,
oh my gosh.
Small world. So I got to reach out to this guy now.
Yeah, you absolutely. And you have to connect me with the person in Jupiter. Is he an agent in Jupiter?
It's a title agent, yeah.
Title agent, okay, yeah. I always like to be connected with people who live by that, when you give, you get so much back. It was something I've always done. I learned that from my grandmother, and it served me well, and it was kind of an accidental thing. And then I read his book, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
That's awesome. Well, any final words to our audience? And it's been amazing for me so far. So.
Oh, thank you. I would say be patient with yourself. Find a mentor. That's the chapter I'm working on right now. I just want to tell people who are starting out, whether they're starting out, in their second career or their first career or wherever they are in their life, they're young, they're old, they're, experiencing the empty nest or career change. Be patient with yourself, but find a mentor. That is worth so much more than further education or an MBA. If you are shadowing someone, you are going to learn. They're in the trenches. They're doing the thing. So that is invaluable. And then remember, it's tiring. So when someone does accept you to be, to mentor with them for a week, 2 weeks, a couple months, it's tiring for them because they have to get up, they have to be out, they have to be they're constantly sharing what they're doing, they're talking it through. I'm sitting here on my dining room table and I have papers everywhere, and I don't want to be distracted because then it's going to take even more energy and take more time for me to get through what I want. So once you do get that mentor, be really respectful and kind to them, because it's a lot, but that is your best ways. And there's plenty of people who want to mentor and are willing to mentor. You just need to ask.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Debbi. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing the story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was great.
That was such an inspiring chat with Debbi DiMaggio, reminding us that success in real estate is about more than deals. It's about connection, mindset, and purpose. Be sure to check out her books and her podcast, Mastering the Art of Real Estate. Thank you for joining us, and please make sure to subscribe and also give us a review. Hopefully that would be a 5, not a 1 or 2. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
In a world where change is the only constant, Mohs Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey